I think for me, my most gratifying moment, there's really two that come into account. When I first got back in the water in April of 2008, I actually raced in my first meet in May of 2008. And I was swimming 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. Able-bodied, but against 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. And I was 19 at the time. And to be swimming with kids that much younger than you kind of takes you back a little bit. And they beat me too, so it really took me back a bit. But I think for me, that was almost one of my most gratifying because I got in and I did it. You know, I was 5 months post-injury at that point in time, and I was racing again in a meet, in an able-bodied meet. And regardless of the age of the people that I was racing, I was doing it. And, you know, at that point in time in my life, there are a lot of people that wouldn't have blamed me if I were sitting in a room depressed and sad and asking the why me and this and that. And they wouldn't have faulted me for it given what had happened. But I knew that that's not what I wanted for my life moving forward. And so I pushed myself. And so I think for me, that was an amazing moment because, you know, if you asked me 5 months prior when this happened, I would have never thought that's what I'd be doing that spring, you know? And so that was a really big moment for me and just moving forward. And then you fast forward, you know, 4.5 years to London and winning that gold medal there. And it's one of those things that there were so many moving parts to get there. And I'd been through so much. And every athlete goes through a lot when they're training for an Olympics. But literally almost in that 4-year time, I'd been paralyzed. I'd got back in the pool again. I had basically all my relearnings of life. I learned how to drive again, you know. Heck, I learned how to get dressed again when I was first paralyzed, like all these things. And then on top of that, 4 years later, I went and I won a gold medal. And, you know, it kind of brought it all together. And you talk about the journey, and that medal isn't just about that 150 freestyle race. That medal is about everything from January 21st, 2008 on, you know, all the way up until the classification protests that I went through in London. And, you know, finding out an hour before opening ceremonies that, oh, by the way, you're actually going to go race people you've never raced before, and you're going to race people who have even more ability than you do. They all walk and run and do all these things. And that was who I had to race. And so 3 days later then from that, when I won that gold, it was like literally everything came together. You know, everyone that said I couldn't and all the adversity that I had had to overcome to get there, and it made it all worth it. And it was a moment that I think sitting on that podium, you know, I'll never be able to forget.